Grand Rising Curvies, thanks for coming through. Thanks for being you. Good morning. Come on in here. Let's see. I'm just jumping on real quick while I'm twisting my hair down for the day. I'm just twisting the front of my hair. I got running to do today, so I decided to come on here. Let's see what's happening to my stuff. There it goes. And I'm going to share this. Sharing the screen. Let's close this. Did you guys hear that Allison was arrested? Just Did you guys know that Allison got arrested? Allison Twitch's wife was arrested for being drunk and disorderly or something. I don't know. And they're like, oh, that's what Twitch had to deal with. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Yesterday, I went live about the best show on Bravo, Married to Medicine. And we were looking at Married to Medicine um, and going over what we saw as the latest episode. And I was just tripping, you guys. At first, I wasn't tripping, but then by the end of it, I was tripping because I'm like, Sweet Tea is really out here, standing by her man. And he was poking her with the board the other day. Had to wet my locks first. And he was poking her with the board in front of all his friends and colleagues and cussing her out and blaming her. And then he turned his ire on to his ex-wife. And he was very comfortable doing that because that's what Quad said her treatment of was like with him. And so I was just thinking why is Sweet Tea trying to spin this narrative that Quad is jealous of her when she knows that her and Quad were both getting treated so bad by Dr. G? Like, who's jealous of their abuser's new girlfriend? Who? I mean, why does she keep saying that Quad wants something she has? And I'm just like having a little bit of issues because I want to have sympathy for her. However, she makes it really hard. She talks a gang of shit. So you're almost like, oh, you got what you got. And then she acts like she knows because she's only listening to her high pitched husband's voice. Oh, sweet tea. Oh, sweet tea. She's listening to that. High pitched husband's voice. Oh, sweet tea. Oh, sweet tea. She's listening to that instead of looking at the actions. And plus, she had already told Dr. Heavenly, remember that last year, Sweet Tea's first time on the season, remember she had told the ladies that she had experienced what Quad experienced? So I guess she was talking about the controlling ways or whatever. Allegedly, she said that. Yet she sits her arse up here on Beyonce's television and says things like freaking Quad is jealous of her. And I think that that just shows the level of help she needs from her mind-bending husband, psychiatrist, because that is not evident, ma'am. I think you are projecting. Anyway, so we saw in the episode Dr. G was in his feelings. And he should probably go talk to somebody, one of his colleagues, about that. Maybe Mimi's taking new patients. Maybe Dr. Mimi is taking new patients and can help Greg process his feelings from finding out that Quad gets smashed at least 15 times a week by the Adonis belt that is king. And him and his high pitched helium need a freaking nap all day and might get it in twice a week, but they're trying to make a baby. Quad and King are trying to make a baby. 15 times is probably a better average than twice, especially when you're, dealing with Dr. G, who everybody in America thinks Dr. G needs to go get his sperm counted on national television so these women he keeps bringing into his life can stop thinking that they're the freaking problem. He's the common denominator, people. Him, his balls, and his sperm are the common denominator, right? Why are these wombs going to get checked out? Why are these wombs have their, you know, self on a time crunch? Oh, you have 2 years. We have two. Well, we're gonna need to go get your swimmers counted because I already been dealing with you. Let her tell it for 5. She said they've been together for 5 years or something and married for however long, right? So I was very put off to find out that not only did Mitchie, Dr. G, appear to physically, mentally, and emotionally abuse his wife, verbally abuse and accost Quad in the presence of cameras and 8 other couples with men. He was so comfortable acting that way, being out of control, self control, low impulse control, like just all the things that it takes to be a man. Um, you know, and I feel like men should reserve themselves with women. You should. You should. You already running the world. Why are you barreling over me because I'm talking to another woman who you used to talk to and obviously still wanted to be with because you don't want me talking to her. But that wasn't the worst of it. After King and Queen Quad announced they're having all this sex, then Dr. G, it was cut out, but Dr. G proceeded to stand over Sweet Tea to the point where Cecil had to come over. And then him and King got into it because he said he was yelling at not just Sweet Tea, but that Quad needed to shut the fuck up. And look, you're not his, that's not your wife. And even if it was your wife, that's still no way to be talking to a woman. And so King had a problem with it. And then in the trailer for next week, we see Quad talking about um, Greg literally went ape shit crazy. He went ape shit crazy. Doesn't Beyonce have a song about ape shit something? Yeah, he went Beyonce's ape shit crazy. And it had been festering all day. Well, what I want to share with us is the fact. Here, let me pull this up. Make this small. Break this off. Open here. What's this? Oh, we're still here. Thanks for coming through. Smash that like button. Smash the subscribe button, y'all. But put a 1 in the chat if you think that Dr. G, after yelling, poking, berating, and emotionally abusing and abandoning Sweet Tea, knowing and then saying that he was, you know, caught in front of her new man, and then King and Quad King and Dr. G get into it because King is not okay with women getting treated like that. And you could see in the picture last week when he was looking back, watching him poke her with that board, he was like, oh my God, that's what Quad had to go through? Well, that's not all of it. But after the way and the shenanigans that Dr. G did because of his feelings for Quad and because he didn't want his dirt brought up, did you know he called the police on freaking King? And King is having to maybe do 90 days in jail, you guys? Well, I'm going to show you. So Dr. Heavenly was on Sherelle's World yesterday, and I was looking for that clip yesterday, but it was taking me a minute to get to it. And here we go. And it was taking me a minute to get to it, so I left it alone. But now I'm going to show you the clip where Dr. Heavenly lets us know that, yeah, Dr. G is a freaking full-on Mitch. full on Mitch mode. But for Sweet Tea to be simping for him, acting like Quad is jealous when Sweet Tea knows her husband, who she has the ring and access to the money from, her husband called the police on his ex-wife's new boyfriend and wants him persecuted after all the shit he was talking and the high key abusive tendencies we witnessed. And the only reason King interjected and Cecil interjected was because he was being high key abusive in front of a group of real men. And I feel like King had every right to check a bitch, and the bitch being Dr. G. Okay? But listen, we're going to listen to this copyright disclaimer. Bravo Shade Room put it out. So that's the scene of what's going to happen. You see Dr. G. So last night, Dr. G had poked Sweet Tea, cussed out Quad, cussed out Sweet Tea, abandoned Sweet Tea, had more words with King than we saw. And you see him sitting up here, and he gets up and goes towards King. And then when King comes towards him, now he's calling the police. You guys, Mitch much? Mitch much? Okay. So now we're going to go back here. Okay, let's watch again. Hey, Chris. Okay, Chris, I hope you feel better. Thanks for coming through, Chris. I'm glad to see you. Um, yeah, I feel better. I'm sorry about that. I hope you don't have none of this, whatever's going around. I hope it's something else. Well, I hope it's nothing. Okay, let's start. Let's go back. I hope it's nothing, and especially not what's going around. Okay, there, I said it right. Love you. But did you guys hear that mess? So I had told you guys yesterday that that was the case, but I couldn't find the exact clip for it. And now I found the clip for it because now it's viral. And the Mitch, Dr. G, that is pure Mitchism. So you call the police on men and try to get them locked up, but you beat, yell, and emotionally abandon women and play mind games with them, and then get them so messed up in the head that they think their abuser is the bee's knees. And yeah. And then he's like, "What you gonna do? What you do about it?" And then calls the police. He probably went to his room and sat there all night and was plotting on how to get King in trouble because he looks like such a Mitch. And then he's like, "This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run up on him, and then when he runs up on me, I'm gonna call the police." That's some Mitch shit. That's some plotted. That's the kind of dude, freaking Dr. G seems like. He seems like sits around and thinks of ways to try to get over on you and then puts his plan into motion. I can see him doing some shit like that. Yeah, yeah. Or am I giving him too much credit? I don't know. But I wanted to come in here with that because now we have the proof. We're going to play it one more time. Yeah, I think Dr. G is a Mitch. So what do you guys think about that? Angela says, "Oh, you can't hear it? No way. No fucking way. You couldn't hear that? Let me see what the heck is going on. You haven't heard it at all the whole time I've been playing it? You know, trolls be coming in talking about you can't hear stuff and everybody can hear it but the troll. Let me see what we can hear. I'm gonna see for myself. Wait. What in the can, can you hear me? Georgia. Can you hear me? I wasn't even gonna be on here that long. Can you hear me? I wasn't gonna be on here that long. Okay. Same browser. Thanks, Angela. Maybe he's going to get kicked out again. He feels he's grafted to get in there. Know about that because he's a doctor. I mean, you know, King's not a doctor. You know, Greg was in the group. Feel like you know what I mean? Until he pressed those charges. They came to that part yet, right? He filed charges. Charges? Yeah, King was getting 90 days in jail. They haven't played that yet. Oh my God, I'm talking too damn much. Next week. No, I spent it. I give a teaser to watch the next week, but yes, he pressed charges. I mean, he filed a police report. Yeah, but Dr. G, I don't think it's nothing to do with the men, Freddie. I think. Okay, I'm gonna hear it again. I think he's worried that maybe he's gonna get kicked out again, and he feels he's grafted to get back in there. I don't know about that because he's a doctor. I mean, you know, King's not a doctor. You know, Greg was solid in the group. Feel like you know what I mean? Until he pressed those charges. They came to that part yet, right? He filed charges. Charges? Yeah, King was getting 90 days in jail. They haven't played that yet. Oh my God, I'm talking too damn much. Next week. No, I spent it. I give a teaser to watch the next week, but yes, he pressed charges. I mean, he filed a police report. Yeah, but Dr. G, I don't. See, and that's what I was trying to tell you guys. Thanks, Angela. So yeah, so after we saw Dr. G be a Mitch, verbally assault, accost, and demean women, he got checked by a real Adonis belt king who gives 15 times wood a week to the beautiful melanated quad. And yeah, Who's it's had to put a stop to that. He couldn't stand the thought. He could not stand the thought of freaking Quad and King. He can't stand the thought of this, Dr. G. He was trying to hamper, diminish contact between the Adonis belt and the 15 times wood and his previous wife, Quad. But he not stopping nothing because this is a picture from Quad's Instagram yesterday. And this is what her and King are doing while Sweet and Sour and Dr. G are pretending that she's jealous of them. She's out here living her best life in pick a country, insert country here, because that's what she's doing while Sweet Tea is going to her government job and helping out at the office, even though they don't need the money like the rest of the cast. The rest of the doctors on set, let Sweet Tea tell it, they need the show. But her and Dr. G don't need the show, but they don't go on no vacations or nothing unless it's the Wolfpack Hotel. But they don't need the show. But Quad and the doctors need the show, and Quad is jealous. Does it look like Quad is jealous? Does it look like Quad is jealous? Or is it that her husband is jealous of Quad to the point that he called the police and pressed charges on a fellow black man because the black man was telling him to not be talking to melanated goddesses at the side of his neck and stop being a Mitch? What? Mad much? Yeah, I think he's mad, and I think he's going to have to stay mad. Mad much, Dr. G? And I think Sweet and Sour is mad too, because she actually understands now that her husband does want Quad back. Or why are you pressing charges on her new man? Why not let her new man alone? Why not let her new man alone? Because you're still trying to control Quad's life because it's that important to you to exert some type of control over Quad. And she was the one that got away. She was the one you wanted. She's looked back and told Sweet Tea, I'm what you want to be. And she is what you want to be because he is still so pressed for his ex-wife that he is controlling her access to her new 15 times a week wood. You guys, this is what he's mad at. Ooh, you know he's mad. You know he mad. Stay mad, Dr. G. I'm telling you, the G stands for girl at this point because that was beyond Mitch. That was Mitch bitch moves. I do not respect a man like that. How are you going to yell at a woman and then the man who checks you is the problem? The man who checks you is the problem. We saw him get up. Watch. No, it's too late. We saw him get up and run towards King like he was going to do something. And then he called the police on him. That is classic Mitch. Because if he's running away and King gets him, even though he approached King, and even though they're in Florida where it's a stand your ground state, I imagine that that's what got King in trouble is him running down. He might have caught up with Dr. G, and that's why Sweet Tea was getting prayed over because her man got bopped, and rightfully so. You jump to a real one, and you get real nuts handed to you. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, you guys, I just wanted to come share that. And I did have Candy and Kenya on the post just a little bit because obviously Candy's still in her feelings too. And she mad that nobody misses her ass on the Real Housewives of the Titanic. Nobody misses her. And they just inserted Phaedra and Cynthia and Portia. Nobody's thinking about her kin. Nobody misses their asses. So Candy quits the show. All her businesses closed. I don't know if she has any productions right now on Broadway, but she goes through all of that and leaves the show. But she's going to keep on using Speak on it to, I guess, review the episodes that she's not on anymore because the other day on her YouTube channel, she took time to talk about how wrong it is. Oh, is it, Candy? How wrong it is that they didn't include Kim. But it wasn't wrong for them to not include Nene, even though you all were supposed to go to HR together when you went by yourself, bitch. It wasn't the wrong of that, but it's wrong of this. Okay, whatever. The duplicitousness that it remains, Candy, Boris. I'm like, I didn't even want to have to go into it a lot. It just shows that Candy misses her job. They weren't giving her what she wanted, in my opinion, allegedly. And so she thought that if she was going to force their hand, talking about they took too long, isn't that the same thing they did to Nene, though? Turnabout is fair play. When they weren't returning Mimi's calls, everybody, including Ken and Candy, was making jokes about it. They just don't want you anymore. People got to take the message. It's a whole ensemble cast, blah, 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 blah. And now it's your turn, and you're whining for the next bitch. Anyway, I always say God don't like ugly and very little pretty. God does not care. You know, He is not tripping on it. We just gotta live our best life and do our best to share our talent and be our light. Don't be a Mitch. Don't be a bitch. Don't get Stockholmed by no minute and a half pitch voice. Don't go jocking for nobody who was just poking you with a 2 times board on national TV and then try to make it his ex-wife's problem. I'm very disappointed in you, sweet tea. Very. You need to check yourself. And I hope your mama and daddy saw that, how I was treating you on TV, and do an intervention on that ass. Because I'm sure your daddy could take Dr. G, because he's younger than Dr. G. Anyway, thanks for coming through to LRGA Curves, you guys. Make sure you smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, and ring the bell so you can get notified when we upload videos. Remember, there's enough to go around, so go get some. Leave it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.